How exactly do I classify a US product? And how do I make sure I don't make any mistakes? Today I will show you how you can classify any given US product within a matter of just 30 seconds. Only those who classify correctly will find out if their export requires an export license. We'll take a close look at all of that now. My name is Ulrike Jasper. I'm an attorney at AEB and I've worked with the ins and outs of US export control law for more than 18 years. Some elements in this video were created with AI, but all the knowledge is 100% my own. We are structuring our assessment based upon the BIS decision tree.
Is your item classified under an ECCN on the CCL?
This question from the decision tree refers to goods classification, and this is a real headache for many companies. But let us take things one step at a time.
What exactly are ECCN and CCL?
ECCN stands for Export Control Classification Number. Basically, it's the dual-use number of a US product. The CCL is the Commerce Control List, and as such, it serves as the US dual-use list. This is where you will find the descriptions for American dual-use goods. Every single product that has technical features which are described under an ECCN then becomes a US dual-use item as a result. This item will then also carry this ECCN as its classification.
And how do I classify US products?
Classification now means that I have to check whether or not my product has technical features listed under an ECCN on the CCL. That sounds incredibly complicated, but I'm going to let you in on a secret that lets you get it done in less than 30 seconds. If I have a US product here in Germany, then the classification must have already been carried out once, namely by the US manufacturer of the product. After all, they initially exported it from the US to the world and had to comply with the EAR. This means that the manufacturer has already checked whether the technical features of their product can be found in a goods description on the Commerce Control List. And if that is indeed the case, the manufacturer classifies their product under the corresponding ECCN. All I have to do now as a company outside the US is to simply ask the US manufacturer for the ECCN classification. You can often find the ECCN on business documents or on the manufacturer's website. And yeah, that's it. Just look it up, ask, and then you're done.
That's still a bit too abstract. Do you have a good example?
Let's take as an example an especially corrosion-resistant pump that was manufactured in the US. If you look at the business papers, you'll find the ECCN right there, 2B350I. This gives you the answer to the question.
Is your item classified under an ECCN on the CCL?
Yes, it is.
Does my item now require a license under the EAR?
This is a very important point. The ECCN only determines the classification itself. Whether or not the product is subject to a ban or a licensing requirement for re-export can only be determined after going through the subsequent steps in the decision tree.
Help! I just cannot find an ECCN.
That is also quite possible. Products that do not have technical features that are listed under an ECCN on the CCL naturally do not have an ECCN either. According to US export control law, they then receive a uniform classification. It is called EAR 99. That's often the case with mass-produced goods. For example, I have a skateboard ball bearing here that was made in the US. I check the shipping papers and find the EAR 99 classification. The ball bearing is therefore not listed in the CCL under an ECCN. But it's important to note, EAR 99 doesn't automatically mean no license is required under the EAR. Even unlisted US mass market goods with EAR 99 can require a license or be prohibited. Even here, I still need all of the further steps of the decision tree to be able to make a statement.
I've successfully classified my item, but what do I do now?
Once I've answered the question in the decision tree, we move on. You guessed it, to the next step in the decision tree. And this one's the same whether my product is classified under an ECCN or under EAR 99.
Do general prohibitions 4 to 10 apply?
Who or what is hidden behind the general prohibitions, and why the US, even in the 21st century, still relies on prohibition, is what you will find out in the next video.